Alright guys, it's time. It's here. The break is finally freaking over. And we got an invite coming from Bly. Woo!
Whoa. Crazy that the stream isn't just breaks.
I know, we just finished fighting with the guy in chat about it. I like to think we do a pretty good job of minimizing downtime when possible, but I would normally entertain you guys. I would love to be just sitting here chatting with Zombie Grove for like 15 or 20 minutes, but this is already like a 6 going on 7, possibly 8 hour, likely maybe even 9 hour stream depending how slow things go. Actually, not 9. I don't think this will reach 9 hours today. But we just don't have a lot to talk about because we've already gone through so much downtime. So if this is not your flavor, I really apologize, but I don't. I really don't. Who am I kidding? Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't care. I think it's also that we've been casting every single day. Sometimes like, 2 casts within like 30 hours type thing. So, like it's kind of like, what else are we going to talk about? Already talked so much.
We could always go through the poop discussion again.
No, I think that one played out.
Okay, so hear me out. Hypothetical.
Oh, that one. I was so disappointed by chat's answers, man.
Hey, so I had a pretty good accidental joke on Twitter yesterday. I saw someone tweet, what does Bulbasaur sound like? It's my grandma chain smoking every time it talks, right? Because, like, remember Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
So I was like, probably because his throat's a little Bulbasaur.
Oh, you.
Pat myself on the back for that one.
I guess. Oh, so we're still waiting. I guess for like he's checking if other casters want to come in. So should start any moment now.
I mean, there's a lot of casters in here, so it makes sense. Everyone's on like Team Haas right now.
Yeah, that's true. I've been playing a lot of city builders. I have been wasting my life away. But I'm so happy for myself because, one, I feel like I work pretty hard. So I don't mind wasting a couple hours here and there. And then two, I could never understand how to play this game when I was younger.
Which one are we talking about here?
It's called an Anno. It's the Anno series.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. I've never actually played that one.
Well, I could not play it out when I was younger. Like it was a different one, but still like the old, medieval, like there wasn't the new future one. And I would always lose money and I had no idea what I was doing. And all my like peasants would riot. And I was just like, ah. So now that I understand it, I feel like I'm so smart. I'm so smart, but I'm facing like easy AI. So I'm really not that good. I feel like StarCraft is giving me unrealistic expectations sometimes. I know how to study StarCraft. I know how to practice StarCraft. I know StarCraft. Yet sometimes I play other games and I'm like, okay, I guess I need to play versus easy AI first. That's okay. Whereas, playing versus easy AI on StarCraft is just like, it's pretty bad. For the new one, the science fiction one, someone mentioned that they play it. I just couldn't. It was one of those things where I just also couldn't understand exactly what I was supposed to do because everything was just a new name. I actually really enjoyed learning how like old-timey processes happened.
I'm just gonna pause you real quick. I'm gonna be clear. I have not listened to anything you said because I've been talking to Bly this whole time. And I only interject now because Bly is trying to convince me that he plans to only play macro versus Haas. And I've been trying to call him bullshit for the last 3 minutes, but I don't know if he's trolling me or not now. This is time for you to weigh in, Zombie Grub. Okay, City Builder on pause. We'll talk about it more later. Do you think Bly actually macros versus Haas?
Yeah. Why not? You played like a lot of macro games before.
Is your definition of macro 2 bases? Okay, well, I hope Bly has something up his sleeve because if we're gonna be, he says more than 1 basis macro doesn't have to be at home. This guy. Do you think? Okay, in all honesty, do you think he can hold up to Haas if it was cheese to cheese, like toe to toe, full on?
Yeah, I think he could.
I didn't mean to ignore you. It wasn't like an on purpose thing. I'm sorry. I want you to know I'm actually sorry. I could be goofy and I could be sorry and I could be mean. And I'm very sorry. I did not mean to intentionally ignore you.
Oh,
It's just... I feel like maybe you do a little bit. But even if you don't, I'm still sorry.
Okay.
But the man of the hour trying to convince us his plan of attack is pure macro. In the top right, the red Zerg Bly.
In the bottom left as the blue Protoss, it is Haas.
So, again, my apologies for ignoring Zombie, but the point of the conversation for why I ignored her was actually asking Bly, like, what are your plans for this? Like, I actually had a sort of serious conversation with him. And part of it was like, do you think you can hold up to his cheese? I think Bly is confident. He's just confident in general. It's Bly. Like, I have never, like, there's a lot of players out there, you'll ask them, like, oh, do you think you'll do well? It's like, oh, I don't know. My opponent's pretty good. Maybe it'll be 3-2. Maybe it'll be close. Like, Bly's the type of guy who'll actually be like, no, I think I win 3-1. Like, I feel good. I like this matchup. Like, so I like the confidence, but I don't know how he'll do versus Haas. Because, man, we know Bly. We've seen him a million times on the channel. You guys have, some of you may have never even seen Haas before. Some of you may not even know the threats represented by the lower left corner of the map.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were gonna end there. It's pretty scary, right? Like, he's just the guy that goes for multiple oracles, like a lot of oracles.
It's not just that it's all ins. Yeah, you're right. It's weird all ins too, like oracles and oracles, zealots with adepts. Like,
you can be all inny and cheesy, but it's different to just, like, you know, make a bunch of oracles all the time, or make a bunch of, like, you know, unnecessary amount of DTs, or like going to, like, one after another. So, but I don't know. I guess as someone who's not really that big of a fan of Haas and doesn't watch him very often, like, I missed most of the games that were later posted on Reddit and, like, you know, shock and all. I never bothered watching them. I have more confidence in Bly. Because I think Bly is a weird, cheesy player, so he does well against weird, cheesy things. But then I think he's a more solid player than Haas. So those things combined put me just, like, you know, giving Bly the 2-1 or 2-0 or whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah, actually, Haas has always put himself up against some of the best players, and when his cheese works, he looks amazing. When it fails, he looks really bad. And I think the problem is it doesn't feel like a lot of his gameplay, at least to date, has had, like, much plans beyond 2 bases. Like, he's played the game to this point, and he's played it so well, that's what he's perfected from it. So, you know, I'm thinking more on Bly's statements regarding playing macro, and it might actually be a pretty genius thing to do. Look, a Void Ray out of Haas already. Yay. Clamp Overlords. It might actually be a pretty genius thing to do when you consider your opponent might not have very strong macros. So if you think you can hold off early all-ins and play even a decent macro game after, forget good, but like a decent macro game against a player who historically, like Haas, doesn't have 20-minute games in his back pocket, I think that might not be too bad of an idea.
I know Haas has gotten to a couple of really, really, really late games. I remember some games on, like, Vonnie or something a long time ago. Where, I mean, he's still cheese, but he ended up getting to, like, a long game. And there's really nothing unorthodox about what he's doing right now.
No,
Bly is probably very on guard, but there's nothing happening.
The only thing that would have been really weird is if that had a second Void Ray following it up immediately. The first one to clean up Overlords, I actually really respect this decision out of Haas, because Bly's the type of guy who might hit you with a Nidus Worm. And you absolutely have to get rid of the Overlords to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, that's a good point. To expect, though, from Bly...
Oh, this is some troubles.
A little
Is
bit.
he going to get there in time? Oh, no, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so the build's going to be scouted, which is definitely the worst thing. You know, the Overlords could have scouted the multiple gateways and the Twilight Council, but the Lings, yeah, definitely going to scout that. See, that's something is all in the way. Since Charge is kind of the more popular thing to do nowadays, I hope he's guessing Charge.
Just a note, too, by the way, if he didn't actually run there at that last second, if he had just kept fighting the pros where they were, he would not have seen that. He would have seen one gateway.
That's true.
But, yeah, he does have a full scout. He's fully aware. If Bly can count on one hand the amount of new gateways coming down, yeah, I think he knows what's going on.
I'm surprised he goes for a Roachborn. I could have sworn he's going to go for a Baneley Nest, whether it's Adepts or Charge lots. well, especially if it's charge lots, which, as I said, is kind of the new thing, the new popular thing to do. It's so in right now.
He might be thinking it's adepts then if it's roaches. Roaches actually are not very good against zealots. That's my only concern here. Not to mention the void ray is going to be able to add a ton if it prismatically aligns, melts them all. But yo, I see Marcos is a big Haas fan of chat. He's been linking all these VODs around, man. I don't know if there's the one in there where he cannon rush. Haas does like some dirty stuff. But anyways, void ray at the front lines. Queen's gonna keep him back for now. Wall's up, but of course, who cares about the wall when the warp prism can fly right over it?
Oh, well, it can't really warp in right over it. The queen's already on it.
Yeah, Bly doesn't even burn a transfuse. That was a really solid way to keep these out. He's warping it, zealots out here, but there's still the wall. He knows about the wall too, so I'm not sure why he did this.
To threaten something? I mean, you know, Bly's have to leave eventually to get a fourth base, so the zealots would be there for that. I don't know. There's not really much you could do. Bly's getting a second Roach Warren, maybe just anticipating the loss of the Roach Warren at the front, or maybe he meant to make a Bailey Nuts. I'm not sure.
I wonder if it'd be worth transfusing that. Yeah, just keep the zealots out.
This is so far gone. Like, the roaches initially seemed like a questionable idea because there's only like 6 of them against 12, you know, charge out warping in. Then that's suspicious. But it's a lot of lings, a lot of roaches against someone who just was unable to get to a critical mass. Now Haas to get a Dark Shrine, so there's DTs in the main, and damn, there's a lot of DTs in the main.
Ooh.
There's no Overseer potential.
There's a Spore Crawler somewhere. He built one. Oh, it's in the 3rd for the time being.
He should try and make a lair though. Like
he is.
Well, it's gonna die, exactly. I mean, like, he should just make all of his attributes layers. Like, I would say that he is gonna clean this up with the help of Spore Crawlers, but the chances of them all being denied is like a little too high. I would be panicking very hard, trying to get as much as possible, but it looks like both of them are gonna survive even. Not enough DTs, going to the natural, and Bly might still be okay even with the loss of his main. It's more than just his hatchery, it's all his tech too.
This was a cool... I do like his move out of Haas though. Like, he had been completely shut out of this game. He still is, in a way. Stargates are a bit desperate, but the DTs and the Zealots got some very serious damage. Denying a lair, shutting down one whole base for mining. When they're both on 53, they're still on the same worker count. But my concern is, these 3 Stargates... Bly's left with a giant Roach army that he could easily make into a Ravager army. No matter what comes out of those Stargates, whether it's mass Queens, Ravagers, like... Well, actually, maybe not at this rate. Be careful.
I'll save it. He lost the backup Roach Warren, so he does need to save that one. But there's enough Queens, that'll be no problem. Gonna start planting on the creep, too. He did, you know, was delayed a lair for some time, so even though now it's done, he still doesn't have Roach speed. He could deny the 3rd base if he got an Overseer. And he probably, you know, maybe should have. And now it might be a little bit dangerous, 4 Phoenix at a time. They could lift up a lot of roaches.
Well, it looks like the Void Ray finally went down. The Queens were able to catch it out in the middle of the map. No upgrades, though, for Bly. Muta's going to be the prerogative here. I don't like this at all, because Haas is going for a lot of Phoenix, and he's even investing in air weapon upgrades for this.
Well, I hope that Bly is getting Corruptors here. I mean, this is Haas. Backup Stargates is not too unorthodox, not too out of the question. But if Bly is thinking he's going to get the one-up by building mutas, then he would absolutely be in the wrong.
Well, I think he will. It's
concerning.
Bly. Bly loves using 8 to 10 mutas. For good or for worse, he usually makes those 10 mutas. I hope for once he doesn't.
It all depends on if he expects Haas to follow up with Stargates. I think that comes down to it. And I think that is kind of common for Haas, but...
Well, with the amount of dedication through this War Prism, there was those 2 War Prisms too, right? DTs and Zealots, like, Bly really might be led astray, and yeah, 12 mutas start up.
I mean, they'll go in, they'll dip in, they'll die to the Phoenix to see how Bly recovers from that. His mineral count's not so bad, it is definitely the gas. You know, if he's banking 1,000, he can just maybe go back in a Hydras or Corruptors, right? Like, choose, but... He is going to get one-upped. Those Phoenixes are going to absolutely slaughter the mutas unless there's some severe miscontrol.
Yeah. Without any Impulse Crystals, they aren't the super auto win, but still, outrange the Mutalisk, moving and shooting. Getting the Warp Prism here is real nice. Ooh, a little bit dicey for the mutas. That drone somehow actually plants the base down. You're the worst Archons ever.
They lived. I feel like this is the third. I see this more often. I'm glad I do. But Proxima is such an old map. I can literally count how many times I've seen those rocks broken down. And it wasn't a 2-base or a 1-base board rail in. This is like the third time I think I see Zerg bother tearing it down. But I think it's a very good move. Having to remember that's back there is usually a big problem for the Protoss. He sees that it is Phoenix now. I think he tried to escape with his mutas. Where are they? Oh, they just died, yeah. I think he tried to escape with them, but they just got slaughtered, so much for that. But mass Spore Crawler, something to survive against what is 19 Phoenixes. He needs to build Queens and Hydras, which is what he's doing. Is this too much of a ground army as well? Like, that's a lot of charge lots.
Well, he's getting some minor damage done. Those rocks are almost broken back. Bly is going to take some losses here, there's no doubt about it. Most of the Queens going down is probably the worst thing so far. He just really doesn't have anything to do with the Phoenix, and the amount that they're always going to have energy to lift something up. Yeah.
You know, if there are Banelings, they probably get lifted. If there are more Hydras, they probably get lifted. There's just a severe numbers issue. And it looks like Bly's going to get overwhelmed.
Just saying, boy. If Bly only had 2 bases, he would have never been pressured at the 3rd.
Hey. Of course, if he never made 12 mutas, he might have had a more substantial army at the front. Not willing to tap out yet because...
Well, you bring that up, but that's really interesting because if Haas didn't say take the Void Ring, clear out the Overlords, one of them may have re-scouted during that fight and seen this coming from a mile away, but Bly having had this sprung on him. GG, and Haas will seek out a victory here in the first game of the group.
Yeah.
Funny guy. It is the first game of the group, by the way, guys. So to be clear, there's still like a loser's bracket, a winner's match, and all that stuff to go through. Also, just while we're waiting, I don't know if you saw, I made a tweet while we were on break earlier. Cloudy had messaged me about being so excited to make it this far in the tournament. And there's a cute little message that I said to post, but man, like if Cloudy, like it's so crazy to me. His group right now has 2 members that he's been practicing with all year in the BaseTradeTV house, and then Lambo on the side. Lambo on the side, who's a great player too. But I think it's totally feasible that if Cloudy's practice versus a Laser or Jon Snow paid off while he was in the BaseTradeTV house, he might well be capable of making it to the next round.
But then again, if their practice paid off versus him,
yeah, that's true too. Of course.
I don't know who's better. I don't know who's what's what in the BaseTradeTV house. Thank you to Zam Kase for the Twitch Prime sub.
Woo! Was that enough energy for you, Sun Solaris? Because that's all I got. Just waiting on, I guess the players are ready up, but we'll get into it. I think someone earlier was looking for Soul vs. Cham, but I guess right now he can't find his opponent.
Apparently a Laser and Cham are both trying to do.
I hope a Laser didn't ditch. I don't want to see him get disqualified.
Be awfully surprised if someone isn't ditched. You get a Kevlar Scarf for the 2-month resub. You're welcome.
I'm trying so hard not to time people out in chat right now. I know it's the late hour crankiness is what it is.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Kevlar Scarf. Safest scarf this side of town. Thank you, BaseTrade, for all the awesome entertainment. 2 months back to back. Thank you for that sub, man. Thank you for having the faith to come back for one more. But hey, it's game.
Double shout out.
What?
So getting the double shout out. Special.
Oh, shoot. Did you just say that and I missed it entirely?
A little bit.
I'm so out of it, man. All right. Game number 2. In the bottom right, it's going to be the blue. No. In the top left is the blue Protoss. Haas.
Nailed it. The double shout out just means they're special. In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, it is Bly.
I actually, my biggest pet peeve is when a co-caster doesn't listen to the other co-caster, and I've done that 3 times now that I've noted, at least, maybe more. I'm feeling really bad about this. And I'm just gonna put this out there, guys. Like, I'm very happy to keep casting. I feel blessed, right? You got good players, got good viewers, got a good co-caster, but I was talking to Zombie about trying to tap out before Group 3 because I'm just not. I don't have the energy for it, so I just want to apologize because this is not like normal behavior, nor am I trying to make it seem or pass it off to be as such.
It's okay. I'm a little bit tired too, actually. Despite all, like, the coffee did the opposite effect. Maybe because it was bad coffee. I don't know. I hated it. I shouldn't have drinking it. Threw it away. But I drank some of it and I shouldn't have. Haas Wood Cannon Rush. So this is absolutely something Bly has to be on point about and take seriously.
Yeah, he pulls drones. Not a lot, mind you, but enough to make this like, hey, I gotta take care of this problem here. Do you know a guy?
I was gonna say, do you know a guy?
He's like, yeah, I know three. I know 3 guys.
Yeah. You know, I could grab a Red Bull. I kind of forget that Red Bull's an option in Korea because I feel like it wasn't until last year.
I'm sad. Red Bull said they were gonna send us stuff for before Game Land and never did.
They never did. Okay, so I talked to my mom on Saturday last week, and I was like, I bet there's some things on my in my room, and she was like, oh, there's so many things in your room. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And I started counting all the things that I'm supposed to get from various people, things that I bought on Amazon before I left. And I'm like, oh my God. And I saw, she took a picture of like one of my cats on my bed.
You still like boxes on boxes on boxes?
I saw like the corners of like 6 boxes, man. And I was like, whoa, shit.
You gotta do like a proper unboxing stream when you get home, man.
Yeah, I guess so. But maybe I got it. Maybe it's an American thing again. I got it, but you did it.
Oh, maybe.
America.
Very sad if that's the case. Alright, Bly's couple of links sneaking in the main, and they should be able to get good eyes. I mean, they already saw the Stargate. There's not really anything else here to look for, so mission accomplished, boys.
Yes. Stargate at the front. Easily scouted. Probes had to be pulled a little bit. Bly, though, is playing another macro game. He's telling you the truth.
He was. And I feel ashamed for doubting him.
Yeah, you should. I feel like, you know, in a ZVZ, you always have to throw out early pools. But even in the ZVZs that we've seen of him, it was like 3 out of 5 games were macro games instead of 1 out of 5. I don't know if exactly he's turned over a new leaf. I just think he's getting smarter because I also think Legacy of the Void has developed that path. You know, like in the beginning, people thought that early pools in ZVZ were so broken they had to change the speed of the Overlord, which they never did. But people figured things out. It's still potent, still scary, but it's not as impressive as people thought it was. Roach Avadral Lynch versus Protoss looked unbeatable. You know, like, and versus Terran too. You know, we thought without Tankovax we'd be dead. That was a time ago, though. It's very much so settled into a perfectly normal, macro-oriented expansion, just like the rest of them did after their teen years, the rebellious years.
If we could be real for a moment, I'm not happy that the ability to lift up tanks in Siege mode was removed from the game. However, I am very happy that in doing so, secured and guaranteed the fact that med tanks would never be the phrase anyone used to describe that.
Med tanks. Yeah. Tankovax is so much cooler anyways.
Or med danks, or whatever they
They're
said.
med danks.
Med danks. Med danky.
I do have triple Stargate again, but this time, Bly's actually going to get a decent scout on it. He's got Overlord just slowly moving to the middle of the map, or the main.
Oh wow, I'm surprised.
Haas.
I'm surprised Haas just lost that Oracle too. There's no real reason for that to have gone down.
He has 4 more Stargates to replace it with.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fine.
He's going to go Mass Oracle. You know, the first one he built, I was like, okay, it's a replacement. Second one he built, I wonder. He can't quite afford it though, which is kind of funny. Haas is a genius in many ways, but I do think that his builds are still kind of unrefined. I never looked at a Haas build and went, that lined up so perfectly like a jigsaw.
Haas is like a Diamond League player that's able to play at a Master League level. Or I mean,
Like, I give the
excuse me.
Yeah, I was gonna give the leagues a bit more bump than that, but I see where you're going with this.
I would have said something even lower. The point is, like, the crazy strategies he pulls off, usually most people don't even consider viable, but then he makes them work, and you're like, oh, okay, 4 Stargates for 4 Oracles at a time. I guess it's okay.
Yeah. What's so hilarious about this is that he's going quadruple Oracle while like expanding too fast. Actually, I would say this is too fast. He's not even fully saturated on this base quite yet, and his 4th base is almost already done. Oh, Bly's gonna. Oracle should be able to take care of this no problem, but they're not quite in a high number or high energy.
Stasis traps, not kills, by the way.
Yeah.
All 3 bases.
I think Bly's onto something here. It's like there's a lot of Oracles I'm seeing.
These Lings got away with a lot, though. You know, this wasn't just a small amount of damage. 18 probes dead is pretty severe.
Oh yeah, especially because I was already dedicated to a 4th base. I was gonna get all these probes. At least you can do it a bit faster.
No, you got 4 Chronos to get probes back up and running.
Yeah, no. 4 Chronos for 4 Stargates, excuse you. Too perfect, it's gotta be what's happening. In fact, I think that is what's happening. Oh, one of them's not chronoed. Yes. I bet he'll use the 4th Nexus soon to chrono it, though.
I'm gonna be so sad if he does.
I'm gonna be so happy if he does. Because that would at least be somewhat part of the jigsaw, right? Like, super quick 4th base for the macro chrono. It's what people have hypothesized since the beginning of Legacy of the Void.
I mean, but look at his money. Like, it's not like he can keep making all these oracles forever.
Nah, he really can't. I mean, even before he lost the probes, I was a little bit suspicious. But, you know, he's already up to 10, so whatever. Bly's only at 14 Hydras. He needs to be a bit higher before he can feel comfortable.
Yeah, this is actually going to kill the Hydras if they catch them first. That's where Revelation is really handy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so... Well, now that as the tides turn, though, right? Like, now as Bly's getting up to maybe, like, in the 20s of Hydras, the Oracles suddenly aren't very impressive, even in their high numbers. Well, I can't say they're ever not going to be impressive, but you get what I mean. Aspire's coming out because you know what handles them even better than, like, Fungals would? Corruptors. Oracles can't shoot up.
Or
they can't chase them. Yeah, actually, Mutas probably be a better idea, because they're a bit faster. They could try and chase down the Oracles.
I'm just waiting for Haas to lay down like 3 stasis traps as he goes in for damage, hoping to bait the Hydras into like shooting the stasis traps.
That'd be a good idea. He takes out half the Hydras, the Oracles clean up the rest for sure. But Bly was a little bit supply blocked, so speaking of like perfect jigsaw puzzles, this wasn't one either. But he's almost ready to go. But everybody's gonna build from that spire.
This is gonna sound weird, but on the mini-map. Granted, I know I'm tired. Does this look like a hand holding a bottle of soap to you?
The creep spread?
No, it's just like what I'm looking at on the camera here.
Doesn't look like anything, man.
Like this is the stem of the soap. You guys didn't see this? It's the bottle and there's the hand gripping it. There's the thumb right there. Okay, I might just be taking crazy pills. Whatever. Man! 20 Oracle Zombie Grub!
Yeah, well that's a lot. So is... Oh, 30 Hydras though.
I don't care if there's 500 Hydras. I just want stasis traps and pulsar beams to fire left and right.
Well, he doesn't have any defense quite yet against the Mutas. He can't at his 4th, but he has to go with Phoenix now. Oh, this was nice. The Overlord was literally never cleaned up. So he knew there was a pylon there. He could just kill.
Oh my god.
That's the worst.
Well, okay, he loses production at the Stargates. You roll your eyes at it, because then you're like, well, does he really need to build anything else out of this? Like, Phoenixes would be great.
So? I think he does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Phoenixes would be great. Like, this is so bad for him.
It is. That's just so stupid, too, because the Overlord absolutely should have been killed by something.
Haas games. Like, this is where you need the Ancient Aliens guy. You're just like, Haas games. Bly ties it up 1-1. I know you guys are probably so bored with the ads, but we're going to go to commercial break. 2 minutes before we get to game number 3. We'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, we got to come back a little bit earlier than expected. This works out though because I didn't remember to play the ads. So, nobody's missing anything. It all works out in the end. Except we don't get like $5 from a commercial break.
Hey man, that could buy lunch in Korea. $2.50?
Buy a whole bunch of chicken. I know that much from experience.
Hey.
But as we hop into game number 3 in the lower right side, you guys watching WCS Valencia Circuit. It's Group 3, and it's Team Experts Bly.
In the top left, as the blue Protoss, it is Haas.
See, but Haas doesn't have a really cool team like Expert backing him up. Team Expert.
Bly is the only one that does anything at all with Expert, and it's not even that much. He retweets. Good stuff. Good stuff. Scarlett points at a logo on her jersey for GSL. That's how we know she's on Expert.
A logo?
Yeah, she was wearing her uniform and it has the Expert logo.
Oh.
So she was pointing at it on the GSL.
I think you meant she had a GSL logo on her Expert jersey. I'm like, why would she do that?
No.
She's like pointing at it to point it out. I'm like, cool. Why, you got a GSL? Why?
I still thought that was a really dumb pose.
That's a forge coming up.
It is, but it was scouted. Bly drone scouted.
Stupid Bly.
Because he's smart.
Well, it may have been smart, but it also may have been like him looking to do his own hatchery shenanigans. I don't know. Either way, knowing that the forge is on the way, this was an appropriate pull with the probes, or excuse me, the drones. You really can't let this go uncontested.
I think it could have been a proxy hatchery, don't get me wrong. Like, Bly would do that, right? I think it's more because last game he got tricked by the pylon.
Oh.
So this game he was like, if you're going to trick me, I might as well scout for it anyway.
Yeah, and he canceled the forge.
Bit awkward. Because it does delay the 7X core. Obviously gas isn't the issue for like, now.
What, you mean Twilight Council, or?
No, it delays the 7X core.
Oh, because the way he canceled it. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's not the gas, but it did actually require the same amount of minerals. Anyway.
I'm really sad. We were so close to Cannon Rush. Bly, you had to scout.
I'm glad he did, man. Cannon Rush can go to hell. Hawks Cannon Rushing can just...
He can just go suck on a lemon is what he can do.
He can just pick up a stick, alright?
Pick up multiple sticks.
Yeah. Because he did, of course, do that versus Jaedong. Never forget. Nelvin never forgets. Oh, or wait.
Kill.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does that end?
Citizen Snips!
No, yeah, exactly. I should be more salty towards Haas, but I don't know. Time heals all wounds, I suppose.
Really? So he's not just a great Terran player.
Yeah, he's also magic.
He knows white magic. Healing powers.
Yeah, that's true, he does. I met him once and then I felt 100 times better. True facts. So, Proxy is also figured out. Who'da thunk it? Haas is being figured out. Crazy.
I don't know that knowing what Haas does or figuring him out, so to speak, makes him any easier to deal with, though. A big evidence of that, it would be Game 1.
I think in this case it does help a lot, though. Because Game 1 was like... He actually did not scout the follow-up Triple Stargate. You literally didn't scout it. This time, he literally shut down a Cannon Rush and a Proxy Pylon.
Literally?
That forces Haas to change his plans and mess up his build a little bit. Literally.
Yeah, I guess even if say like the Robo comes down late, it's still at least eventually going to be out.
Yeah. We do have, by the way, like... Twilight Council and a Robo on 2 bases with a lot of gateways again. So this is kind of how he started off the charge lot all in, and that's what's gonna happen. And then if it's the same thing, he's gonna follow up with DTs. Oh man, mind blown. But you know, if he went for a charge lot all in, I wouldn't mind it. I don't know if Bly's gonna get the same wall off that he did on Proxima.
Well, he may or may not need to. He does have drops ready to go through the Overlord, so that's picking up and saving all the units, but also taking him to safety.
Wait, he does?
Speed. Excuse me. I'm dumb.
I was like, I just even have an evolution chamber, so that's awfully surprising.
No. This is the sleep depravity part coming back in.
So with Overlord speed, he can oversee his drones being slaughtered by charge lots and report back.
I saw that upgrade and seriously thought like, because the thing's not even upgraded anymore. You gotta actually transform the Overlord itself. Like,
yeah, you do.
my brain's gone.
It's funny. All right, well, you know, there's a lot of gateways in his charge where there's still third base. You know, like the third base is kind of a fake, but it's also like if this doesn't work but works quite enough, then I can expand. Because he absolutely cut probes. He cut probes more than usual to do this. I'm pretty sure that most people just cut like 40 something. 38's pretty insane. If this doesn't work, he might be able to transition to 3 target again. I don't know. Miracle worker, right? But I don't think it's gonna work. Bly doesn't have to really cut too hard. He's already at 53 drones, yet can also afford to make about 16 roaches. With the, you know, the void rate's a little bit more questionable, but I feel like with reinforcements there's advantage. This should be enough.
Oh, Zealots on the backside though are a little bit nasty. That helps spread that surface area. Charge also covering his. Oh. That Void Ray may or may not go down here, but it's already done its job, and it's open the gateway for the Zealots to start getting a little out of hand. Bly's got roaches coming out. I like this positioning behind the mineral line, but Queens are starting to go down. Transfuses are going to do what they can, but...
Bly, he needs like this little bit more of a bank, you know? And then he'd be able to maybe have enough roaches, but they might just be coming out a little bit too few at a time. The initial attack ended up going really well for Haas.
Yeah, another warping goes towards the main. Drones are being pulled left and right. The way this warp prism got into the base, though, like this was a right through the front door, walked out the back door, came back in through the kitchen window, and they kept bringing all their friends over. Like, these Zealots are getting really out of control. And Bly has 2 bases not mining. I actually think Haas has done it.
He is about to have a gold base. He can send a lot of these.
42 out of 16.
He's about to have a gold base, but I'm afraid the roach number is just not going to match up against the Zealots anymore. You know, there's a very fine point in which one person was going to have an overwhelming number, and I think it's swung over to Haas.
Yeah, he tries to put the Spore Claw down and snipe off that Warp Prism, but the fact that those Zealots took it out, like, this is so bad. And this is more Zealots coming in. Yo.
Oh, no! Actually, Bly can't afford to make any roaches because he doesn't have any gas.
He can't do anything, man.
He can keep trying to make queens, because he is mining up a gold now, but it just isn't going to be enough. Well, what a way to lose.
Zealots are pretty good, you know. If you're going to nerf the Reaper, something like this needs to be taken out of the equation too. I'm just saying.
But this is kind of what we talked about in the very first game, where like sometimes roaches just really aren't very good against charge lots. Like you have to have that overwhelming number and nip it in the bud. Otherwise, Banelings are a much better choice, because, you know, it's kind of hard to split Baneling, or split Zealots against Banelings.
17 workers dead. Gold base is the only thing mining. Haas is killing everything else. Bly decides to go for a base trade, but there's a wall up, so that's not going to work.
That's a very strong wall, though. I mean, he might just get in there and kill a bunch of probes, but he still can't deal with the army. Spine crawlers being made. If only they'd been made earlier. There is a world where if Bly could get a decent army with 3 bases, he continues to live on here, but he's about to lose his main too, so cut down to 2 bases. I don't know if he lived beyond that. The Lings were successfully denied, just a Sentry Warp in helped there. But Bly's droning?
Oops.
I think maybe his armor supply is a bit better than it actually is.
Well, thank goodness for the spine crawlers.
Hey man, I'm all for holding out. This is one of those rare scenarios where Bly's stubbornness maybe pays off because Haas is on 2 base. He canceled the 3rd straight up. I don't think it's gonna work. If there was like 6 Banelings, I'm like so on board. There's no Banelings.
No, the Zealots deal so much damage that the spine crawler's bonus armor has very little to no effect. It does go down so quickly.
Oh, heartbreaking. He knew it was coming too. Like he tried his best to prepare in time. It's down to 5 drones. Oh, Oh boy.
Haas also do a warp prism micro to constantly make sure there's the most surface area possible connecting to these units. The taps out. GG. Haas will go to the winner's match with a 2-1. And unfortunately, Bly will lose and fall to his death.
In the loser's match.
Also, thank you, Cassiana, for the $10. Says, tank effect drop with Red Bull / Monster for Riff. I wish, man. We're gonna, I guess, go break. I'm probably going, though, guys, one way or the other. So either Zombie or we'll finish this, or we'll come back and both say our goodbyes. But I'm just embarrassing myself at this point, and I don't want to keep going. So we'll go to the break. We'll discuss it. We'll see you guys soon. Okay, we're back. Well, kind of back. The ads are still playing. Fuck. Okay, well, most of you are going to hear this later. First and foremost, yeah, we're just... let me move this here. Again, thank you, Cassiana, for the $10. We're going to call it here. There's 2 best of 3s remaining, and in no particular order, because we wouldn't even necessarily follow this one, but I'm tapping out. Zombie says she doesn't want to solo cast the rest, and that's totally reasonable, so... I think she's gonna be staying up watching the rest of the games. I'm gonna slash host StarCraft once we're done with this. So you guys can keep watching here if you'd like. Play with the GatherBot some more, what have you. But we're also gonna take down the Bit Boss thing. The loot. Nobody really got involved with it today. That's fine. It happens. I'll just go sell the ticket or something. But thank you guys for joining us on the stream today. Hit the follow button, please. We should be back tomorrow night. It won't be nearly as long of a cast, which will be nice and a little bit more reasonable for us. But yeah, we'll tap out here. So have a good one. Thank you so much for joining us for our coverage of DreamHack. Excuse me. Nope. Back up. WCS Valencia. And I look forward to doing some more casts. And of course, I do want to note that we have the BTSL scheduled for, I think, if not tomorrow, the day after. We are moving that. That's not happening while DreamHack's going on. So we'll reschedule that. As well as I do need to draw attention to the fact that we are going to be not just hosting, but also casting DreamHack Atlanta. That'll be happening on July 21st through 23rd, so mark it down on your calendar. And I guess last but not least, just please hit the follow button on the channel, guys. We're making good moves. We're getting closer and closer to 100K followers. But enjoy the rest of whoever you choose to watch. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.